As the House voted on a historic impeachment, the halls of the Capitol were filled with the National Guard. What San Diego's congressional delegation has to say about the unprecedented security.
And as California makes more people eligible to get the COVID-19 vaccine, the county worries there are just not enough people to give those shots. The call for help during this strain on healthcare workers.
The county adds an extra measure of enforcement as some businesses continue to defy the stay-at-home order, the potential cost violators face that goes beyond a fine.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
The ayes are 232. The nays are 197. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
In a historic first, President Trump has now been impeached twice, but it's unlikely his trial in the Senate will begin before he leaves office in 1 week. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Mitch McConnell has said he will not reconvene the Senate ahead of its scheduled return next Tuesday. In a single article of impeachment, the majority of the House voted today to charge the president with inciting violence against the government. It has now been 1 week since Trump supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building. Several investigations are underway into that attack. And 1 week after the mob of Trump supporters flooded the halls of the Capitol building, those same halls are now filled with members of the National Guard. Our ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl spoke with members of the San Diego delegation about these unprecedented security measures surrounding today's vote and next week's inauguration.
Between the security fencing, the roadblocks, and the thousands of National Guard troops on patrol, Representative Mike Levin says the Capitol complex doesn't feel like the Capitol right now.
Stop talking, pay attention.
I was telling my wife this morning that it feels kind of like we're in the Pentagon right now. There's a huge military presence.
The military armed the Guard members for the first time Wednesday with a rifle and a pistol amid threats of more extremist violence. Some National Guard troops rested inside the Capitol Visitors Center as they worked 24-hour shifts leading up to Inauguration Day. Levin said the fact this much security is necessary is heartbreaking.
Here we are in the citadel of democracy, and we have to have a force in the many thousands both today and on through the inauguration, not because of any foreign adversary, but because of domestic terrorism. We are so much better than that.
When it came time to vote on impeaching the president, the San Diego region's 4 Democratic representatives voted yes. Republican Darrell Issa voted no.
With 167 hours left until he leaves office, is he a clear and present danger? And he clearly isn't.
Democratic Representative Scott Peters participated remotely as he quarantines after a potential COVID exposure.
The President of the United States is watching an attack on the United States unfold and not fulfilling his obligation under the Constitution to protect us and to protect the democracy. And I just never thought I'd see it. So that's why we're in the situation we're in today.
Peters says he plans to be in Washington for his 3rd presidential inauguration despite the threats. By then, 20,000 National Guard troops are expected in D.C. That's more than 3 times the number of active duty troops in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria combined. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week.
President Trump released this video about an hour after today's impeachment vote. He didn't address the vote, but instead focused on last week's riot, condemning those who took part in it. The video is more than 5 minutes long. We have posted it in its entirety on our website, 10news.com. Turning to the coronavirus, the county's 14-day rolling average for positive COVID cases is again above 14%. There were more than 3,200 new cases reported today. There have now been more than 200,000 cases in the county since the pandemic began. The daily number of deaths remains high. There were 54 more reported today. Nearly 2,000 San Diegans have died from the virus. In a major expansion, California is now allowing everyone 65 and older to get the COVID-19 vaccine in phase 1B. It's all part of an effort to ramp up the slower than expected vaccine rollout. The county says healthcare providers can start to move to phase 1B if they have the doses, but the focus should still be on who needs it most, with a priority on healthcare workers and the oldest residents. Doctors say as more people become eligible, it's crucial for the community to know which phase they are in and to keep track of when they are up. They have reached out to our local hospitals. Sharp, Scripps, and Kaiser all say that they are still working their way through phase 1A.
In the meantime, the county says it will also stay in phase 1A simply because it still doesn't have enough doses of the vaccine. The county says today just over 200,000 doses have arrived. There are 620,000 San Diegans in phase 1A, and each person needs 2 doses. Both Dr. Wilma Wooten and Supervisor Nathan Fletcher say they are not aware of any county that's made it through phase 1A vaccinations.
And I think it is important context that we put in that we need people to be exceedingly patient, not because people aren't doing everything they can to get the vaccines out, but because the vaccines have simply not arrived in significant quantities to be able to administer to those.
Supervisor Fletcher says they do expect more vaccines to arrive very soon. They're also allocated by the California Department of Public Health, but it's unclear how many will arrive or when.
And tonight, the county is in desperate need for volunteers to help administer the vaccine. Without volunteers, they warn they won't be able to meet the goal of getting 5,000 people vaccinated every day. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz breaks down the strain on our health system.
If you have a background in healthcare, the county needs your help. They've launched a campaign looking for people like doctors and nurses to help administer COVID-19 vaccines. San Diego's vaccination superstation opened this week at Petco Park, but with many health professionals already working overtime at hospitals, there's not enough people to give out vaccines to the 500,000 healthcare workers in phase 1A.
We all have unique challenges. For us, the county, the size of the state of Connecticut.
Volunteers would be joining the San Diego County Medical Reserve Corps. Applicants must be licensed in California, actively working, or recently retired from healthcare.
We also have an expanded scope of practice for dentists to give vaccinations, for paramedics, pharmacists and pharmacy technicians and so forth.
If you're approved, you'll receive special training from the county.
We do all of the license verification, the background and everything, so we assure that whoever is providing and administering vaccinations is absolutely qualified.
According to Bloomberg.com, California has received more than 3.2 million vaccines, but only 800,000 doses have been administered. That's less than 25%. The county hopes to reach their goal of vaccinating 5,000 people per day at the superstation by January 15th. Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
Southern California's ICU capacity is still at 0%. If you would like to volunteer to administer vaccines, there is a link on our website, 10news.com.
Some good news. Pharmacies may be able to bear some of the load in getting more people vaccinated. Our partners at KPBS report the National Association of Chain Drugstores is eager to get the vaccines into 40,000 pharmacy locations across the United States. The association's president says that 90% of Americans, they do live within 5 miles of a pharmacy.
Based on conservative assumptions, pharmacies have the capacity to meet the demand for 100 million vaccine doses in just 1 month, when that level of the vaccine supply is available.
That is good news. The group of 19 pharmacy chains across the U.S. could start to receive doses of vaccines starting tomorrow. To ensure proper tracking of the COVID-19 vaccines, pharmacies will have between 24 and 72 hours to upload vaccine supply and administration data depending on their state. And as the effort to vaccinate more people ramps up, you can follow the very latest coronavirus developments with the ABC 10 News app. You can find it for free in the App Store. Family and friends of this missing Chula Vista mother spent the morning searching for her at a hiking trail near her home. Maya Miliete disappeared 5 days ago, missing her daughter's birthday on a Sunday and not showing up for work this week. Her sister believes that she left with only her ID and possibly her phone and credit card.
We love her, and that no matter what she's going through, we're here for her. She just had to let us know, just a little hint, I didn't call to let us know you're okay.
ABC 10 News spoke with Miliete's husband yesterday. He told us they got into a fight last Thursday and she left to, quote, blow off steam, but didn't come home.
The manager of a local restaurant chain has pleaded guilty to federal tax fraud charges. Alexander Sirkovich managed the Lake Murray Cafe in La Mesa, among others. This video is from July of 2019, shortly after IRS agents raided the place. At the time, the IRS did not say why it carried out the raid. Today, we learned that Sirkovich was accused of not filing employment tax payments for 3 years, from 2014 to 17. Instead, the IRS says he lined his own pockets. Sirkovich must now pay back more than $2 million. He'll be sentenced in April.